All right. Well, hey, everyone. My name is Dee Corchin. I'm glad to be with you this Monday night. It is September 19th already, and glad you guys are here for team time. We come together every Monday night for community to learn and to grow together. And we know that coaches that are invested and integrated into the system, into the community, into learning, just like with our clients, it's a proven process. So if we follow the process and we integrate into it, that's how we improve our success. So I'm really excited you're here and excited you're going to hear about the topic that Frank is going to train on, which is really how to earn more in less time. Put a 1 in the comments if that's like something that you would like to do. I think it's something that's important. And I think that you're going to be surprised. And Frank just got back from the leadership conference in Portland and has a lot to share on this topic. But before we do, just always like to go over a few announcements and just a reminder that we have our Tuesday night community calls have been blowing up in terms of attendance. So just a reminder again for yourselves to be involved and really take that time to personally, it's a new habit we have to create with our clients and new clients, et cetera. So it's worth the time to invest, to send them reminders, send them the link beforehand. But we're finding that our clients, I get clients that are texting me their takeaways. It just helps them process on a different level. So just encourage you with that. I think tomorrow night's topic is good to great, which will be something we could all benefit from. And then the accelerator for all incentive is just blowing up. So congratulations to you guys that have already earned it. This is where we're going to earn additional bonuses for the number of clients we bring on. And when you bring on your new coaches, there's never been a better time for them to get involved, but they can also earn the same exact bonus. And then you get a matching bonus for every coach on your team the first time that they do it. So it's like a win-win-win, and more people are going to get healthy. But we've got another executive director to celebrate tonight. Laura Flores set her eyes on executive director, and specifically, I know, wanted to be a part of Awaken. She is just a delight. She's come on with fire. I met Laura in person at convention. So I'm really excited that she's going to share with us because she did reach her goal in August of executive director and did register, I think, immediately for Awaken. So Laura, do you want to take it away for a few minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the lovely intro. I started program in January of this year, and I am down about 90 pounds in 8 months, and which is awesome. I had a little bump in the road. I got COVID, and so I kind of have been maintaining, but I'm actually starting back on 5 and 1 today to continue to reach my goal. But a couple months into my journey, I decided to start coaching because I really wanted to help other people feel as awesome as I was feeling. And once I started, I really fell in love with it because it just really gave me a sense of purpose, and I just really felt like I was stepping into like what I was supposed to do and kind of like my destiny, and just helping other people was so rewarding for me. And so at convention, well, before convention, I decided like, okay, I want to go all in. I want to reach executive director. That was like my next goal after senior coach. And so at convention, I really just got this fire in me that I needed to be at Awaken. And I told everyone there that it was going to happen, that because August was last month to qualify. And I was like, it's happening on my map. I wrote Laura E.D. Flores, like I was claiming it. It was going to happen. And so I really just was consistent with my daily actions to get me there. And I ended up reaching executive director with blended, so with a senior coach and then all the rest frontline. So it was really cool to see how everything came together. And despite getting COVID and being down, no energy, I still was committed to being in action. Even if it didn't look like what it would look like on my best day, I was still doing my daily things, which for me are A to Z commenting, adding new friends, posting, doing stories, and just like kind of showing up. So I continued to do that. I had my little moments of doubt and stuff, but I trusted the process. I stayed in action, and I was able to reach my goal at the end of the month. And it was so amazing and exciting. And I really just, like, I truly did envision the goal. So like awaken, I envisioned the being there, being with everyone in the hotel and like in the meetings and stuff. And that really helped to drive me. So it was just super exciting to set that goal and reach it, and cannot wait for awaken and just to see what the rest of the year holds and who else I get to help.
Wow. I hope you see the comments blowing up. I mean, first of all, 90 pounds since January is incredible.
Thank
And I'm sure probably through all those years, you didn't dream as a little girl of being a health coach. So congratulations for taking that pain, that struggle, and saying yes pretty quickly, right? To
thank
say
you.
yes to coaching. And you're doing a
Mhm,
great job sharing it because you grew to ED by blended path, right? So
mhm.
you're sharing the full trilogy. And I think that's a message to all of us as we're for ourselves, or as we're helping new coaches grow to the blended and sharing the full offering is so important. I'll share something with you. I love that you did that. It was Laura ED Flores, because I heard something like that on a call one time, you guys. And when I wanted to go presidential, now, unless you know my next goal, you'll never know what my passwords are. But she told me she did this and I did it. And I wrote D presidential 2018, because that was when I was declaring it, and that I was gonna, and that was my password, like, for everything. And so when you're typing it all the time, it's going in, but don't miss, because she declared it, she shared it, but don't miss, she did all the action as well. And we can't miss that step, right? You can't just manifest it into happening. But that vision of seeing yourself at the hotel and all that, that's what does it. So awesome. Well, congratulations. And Frank, I want to go ahead and turn it over to you with our topic tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. And again, congratulations, Laura. That is awesome. I love hearing stories like that. So tonight, I'm going to be sharing in a kind of a different way, probably a way that you've not seen before, or maybe a concept that you have not heard before. And I mean, it's nothing outside of the, of what we've been taught as leaders, and, through all the boot camps and the Dan Bell trainings and all the trainings that we attend, both online and in person. But I want to be delivering it in such a way that you may have not thought of before. And I'm going to share my screen. And before I share my screen, I've got to let you know that I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint. I'm not a big fan of slides. I'd rather hear from speakers. I'd rather see their face. But in order for me to get this concept over to you and help you understand it, I hope you understand it, is I had to create some slides. So I'm going to share my screen now, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. So let's see here. Move that over from the beginning. So if somebody can give me a thumbs up, maybe D or somebody, can you all see that? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about a job versus Optavia. And this will incorporate all the topics that we're going to talk about tonight. And I have the income disclosure here. So any income I talk about, understand that this disclosure takes precedence. And again, I'm not anti-job, okay? So if those that have a job, settle down. I'm not anti-job. I think jobs have a lot of benefits. Obviously, income, a purpose, a passion, a sense of belonging, community, you make friends, you have a skill. So, I mean, you get benefits, vacation, obviously a lot of benefits of jobs. So I'm not anti-job. But I'm going to talk about Mary. And Mary is a hypothetical coach who started in January of 2022. And in January, she worked her job, made $10,000 that month. And she also came on as a brand new coach and went senior coach and made about $240. February, she worked her job, made $10,000. And then Mary continued to work her business, and she went manager in February. You'll see the totals at the bottom of the screen. In March, Mary worked her job. She made $10,000, and then she continued to work her business and went director, making about $1,200 a month. Now, these incomes that you see through Optavia, they're pretty realistic, but I'm actually going to be rather conservative as we move forward. Now, in April, Mary's been an Optavia coach for 4 months, and look, yay, she went executive director. That's about 17 to 20 clients. What did she do to go from brand new coach in January to 4-month executive director? She tapped into the system. She tapped into her proven mentorship. She did the work. She changed some habits. She had some concepts that she had to learn and some concepts that she had to unlearn, and she had to apply motivation. So she's a brand new executive director. In May, she continued to be an executive director. She's now making about $2,900 as an Optavia coach, but she made $10,000 at her job. There's the totals at the bottom of the screen so far that what she's done for 2022. In June, she made $10,000 at her job. She held executive director for 3 months in a row. She's increasing her volume a little bit. You'll see her income went up just a couple $100 a month. Okay, these are all very realistic, very doable goals. Dan Bell teaches anybody can be an executive director once they make a decision in about 30 to 90 days. So once they make a decision, they can be an executive director in about 30 to 90 days. Mary made the decision pretty early on. In July, she's working her job. She made $10,000 a month. She held executive director for the 4th month in a row. Her income is now $4,300 a month. Why did it take a big jump from 31 to 43? She qualified for what we call a consistency bonus, making it an additional $1,000 a month because her volume averaged $6,000 of frontline volume over the course of the last 3 months. In August, look here, Mary broke an executive director. So she's now a regional director. So she's an executive director with 1 executive director. She's making, her income dropped a little bit. She didn't get the bonus that month, but she got another bonus for having an executive director. She's still making $10,000 a month at her job. She's way ahead of her job as far as income for the year. She's at $80,000 for her job and $18,500 for her Optavia business. In September, Mary went FIBIC. She has that 1 ED still, but she's got 4 senior coaches on the side. Look at the big jump from one rank to the other. She's now making $5,500 a month. October, Mary makes $10,000 at her job. She's a FIBIC for the 2nd month in a row. November, she held FIBIC for 3 months in a row. Again, another consistency bonus kicked in. You see that her income jumped to $7,000 that month. December, she rounds out the year. She's got another executive director and 5 senior coaches. She's still a FIBIC, but her income's at $7,800. She finishes the year with her job at $120,000 for her job, and she's made $44,300 as a independent Optavia coach. She goes into 2023, and unlike her job, she does not start at 0. With her job, she starts every year at 0. In January, she starts at 0. Yeah, in 2022, she ended up $120,000 with her job, but she starts off at 0, but not with her Optavia income. With Optavia, she starts off in 2023 as an integrated national director. She's got 3 EDs and 5 senior coaches, and she's making about $8,000 that month. Okay, you wonder, what's the difference here? Well, let's go on to February. She holds that rank. March, she holds that rank, but she's got another senior coach. She's still making more on her job. April, she's got another senior coach and 1 more executive director. May, she kind of stays the same, but again, another consistency bonus kicked in. Look, for the first time ever, she's making more as an Optavia coach on a monthly basis than she has as her job. Yes, With your job, initially, you'll make a lot more money, but she kept doing the work. She kept staying consistent. She dealt with disappointments and failures. And now for the first time on a monthly basis, she's making more money with her job. Let's go on. June. Well, she's been at her job for about 18 months and she's recognized for doing a good job at her place of employment. So they give her her first pay raise. Typical average pay raise at a job is 3%. She's now making $10,300 at her job. But she's an integrated national director with 4 executive directors, 8 senior coaches, now making $10,800 with her Optavia income. In July, she continues to do the same thing with her job. Her income goes up a little bit. In August, she's still an integrated national director, 4 EDs, 7 senior coaches. September, look what happened. Mary just went global. She's got 5 executive directors, 6 senior coaches. If you add that number up, that's 11 legs at senior coach or above. Dan Bell will tell you that to be a global, you're somewhere between 12 to 15 senior coach legs to be a global. She did it at 11, which is very realistic. And her income is very realistic. In fact, it's very, very conservative here at $12,000 a month. However, looking at her job totals for the year, she's still a few $1,000s ahead on her job. Let's go to October. October, she makes $10,300 at her job, and she's making $13,500 a month with her Optavia business. And look what happened for the first time ever. In 2023, in the month of October, Mary has surpassed her annual income with her Optavia business. November, Mary is a global director still. She's got 5 executive directors, 7 senior coaches. December, 1 executive director fell out. She dropped from 6 executive directors to 5 executive directors, and she's got 8 senior coaches. These are very, very realistic numbers. You will have disappointments. You will have failures along the way. People will fall out of rank. And that's what happened with one of the executive directors that Mary partners with. But she finished out the year in 2023 here, $122,100 for her job income and $132,300 for her Optavia income. Mary starts off 2024, beginning of her 3rd year as an Optavia coach. As an employee, she's making $10,300 a month. She's got to start all over in 2024. Her monthly income as Optavia is now making $15,000 a month and climbing. She's a global director. And Mary asks herself, what's this income going to look like in 2 years? What are the possibilities? On the left side of the scale with her job, she'll continue to be an employee month after month, month after month, year after year. With Optavia, she's got the opportunity to go from a global director to presidential director. And I didn't even put it in here, integrated global director and integrated presidential director. So Mary begins to ask herself some questions. With my job, how many hours per week am I working? Typical job is what, 40, 50 hours a week? If you got some jobs, or it could be 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week. When I was in healthcare, there were a lot of weeks I would work 70, 80 hours a week. You're on call, you're working weekends. I know a lot of people are working more than 80 hours a week. Mary asked herself, what is my job secure? Well, that's a question that Mary had to ask, because she's found out, and she did some research and she talked to some family members and friends. There are no such things as job security anymore. There's buyouts, there's layoffs, there's takeovers, there's new bosses that come in and they want to bring in a friend or a family member to take somebody's job over. There are no such things as job security. Sadly, we found out through the pandemic that even in healthcare, Nurses, physicians, and people in healthcare lost their job or were laid off. Mary asked herself, my job income is immediate, but my Optavia income is planning for the future. Which do I want? With her job, she's got to do the work over and over and over again. With Optavia, it's do the work one time and then you maintain that work. You support your clients and your coaches. Mary began to ask herself, what happens if I lose my ability to perform? What does that mean? Again, my background is in healthcare. Let's say 3-4 years ago when I was working full time, let's say I lost the use of my left arm. An accident happened. I had a chainsaw accident, or something weird happened and I couldn't use my left arm or my left hand. Could I have worked in the operating room? Absolutely not. I would have lost my ability to perform. And that could be true with a lot of occupations, whether you're a plumber or whether you're an air conditioning technician, whether you're a secretary, you can't type on a keyboard. If you lose your ability to perform, you're out of work. And it happens every day all across the country. With Optavia, you can lose, let's say, God forbid, you can lose your left arm or a couple fingers or something like that. You can still be a health coach. Mary had to look at a retirement plan. What does that look like with a job? Sadly, most jobs do not have retirement plans anymore. With Optavia, you can earn as much or as little as you want. It's totally up to you how much you're willing to work, how much you want to tap into the system. With Optavia, you have an ability to create a legacy. With a job, let's say you're an attorney. If you retire, or God forbid, if you die, are you able to pass on that income? Probably not. Hopefully you have a will. Hopefully you have some money there, but you can't pass on that income if you're an attorney or any other profession, pretty much. But with Optavia, it is willable. You can pass it on to your spouse, your children, or whoever you deem appropriate in your will. It's willable. That's powerful. So this here is some average incomes. I hope you can see that, some average incomes that was shared on a training slide. And it shows the average income of some of the ranks of coaching. And I stopped with Mary at Global Director, but here it shows the average monthly income of a Global Director being about $18,000 a month. So let me ask you, which is better, earning through a job or earning through Optavia? The average income for presidential director, according to the slide, is $28,000 a month. And the average monthly income for an integrated presidential director is $148,000 a month. Now, we know anytime you speak of averages, there's going to be people that make less than this, and there's going to be people that make a lot more than this. But I will tell you that this weekend I was just at in Oregon last week, Dr. Anderson said Optavia is absolutely, without question, without doubt, the best business opportunity in America today. Finally, as I wrap up here, we're going to talk a little bit about skill set plus mindset plus action. We all know that equals success. What is the mindset? Those are some concepts that people have. If you have a concept that this program is too expensive, for example, that's going to be in the equation. Your mindset will be missing. If you have a concept that it takes too much time, that's going to be in the equation. That will be missing. If you have a concept that you can't sign up any coaches, that's going to be missing. Dan Bill tells us we all fish from the same pond. Your friends are no different than our friends. Your family are no different than our family. It just depends on how many lines you have in the water. How much fish do you want to catch? However, there's one particular word missing from this equation, and that word is massive. It's not just action, because we all can take action, but in order to be successful, you have to take massive action. If you're just taking action one time a month, that's action, right? Sure, that's action. 2 or 3 times a week, that's action, but it's not going to get you to success down the road. It'll get you maybe an executive director. And if you want to just be executive director, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a global director, you want to be an IPD, it takes massive action. Jim Rohn said, success is easy. Then somebody asked him, if success is so easy, why isn't everyone successful? Why isn't everyone successful? If success is so easy, why isn't everyone successful? Now, I'm just going to pause it here for a minute, let you think on that. If success is easy, why isn't everybody successful? And he replied, because it's easy not to. So you know the potential, you know what's possible, and you get to choose. Thank you. I'm turning it back over to you, Dee.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. Anybody have any questions on that before I jump in? I know it was a lot of information. I see all the comments coming in. Really like the way you laid that out, Frank, and your tech skills are pretty darn good. The way you it was running the total at the bottom and all of that. So very helpful. Yeah. And I think that, you know, I think we talked about this a little bit last week, is looking at the long game. You know, I think sometimes we can get frustrated when things don't go as fast as we want or as quickly as we want. But the name of the game really is in the long game, and also by doing to get to those higher levels. Mary was bringing on coaches, right? Like at the end of the day, like if it's solely dependent on us, and I was a frontline executive director coach for years. I had serious concepts about sponsoring, that nobody wanted to do it. People would think it was weird. They just came to lose weight. Why would they think it weird if I offered them a business? Like I had all kinds of stinking thinking happening. So, so with that, right, like my business felt hard. It was just on me, but through the multiplication process, through sponsoring, that is how we, you know what I mean? Those higher levels come, and Mary wasn't doing all the lifting herself. So that's what Frank was saying, you know, yeah, does Optavia Connect start at zero every month? It does, but you've got a team in place that is also working with you, right? That's going to help you get to those ranks. So I think that is really important. And I think the consistency, I mean, Laura talked about it at the beginning, that, right, it's like her action when she was sick didn't look like her action when she was on her best day, but she would do something. And Dr. A talks about that, right? Like he always says, come up with an action plan that you could do it even on your worst day. And he gives the example of the woman who wanted to start doing push-ups, and it was like, well, we know we could do one. Even if you weren't feeling good, you could do one. So what could you do, you know, every day? And what over the years, what I have found with coaches and that get kind of stumped, get frustrated, and when we're not progressing at the one way we want, that unmet expectation, the noise that we should be further along gets in our head, and sometimes our action actually becomes more sporadic. And I heard a great analogy when it said it's kind of like our action on our business becomes similar to doing the 5 and 1-ish. Right. So when Frank talked about, you know, maybe 3 days a week, well, we know when we follow the 5 and 1, or our client follows the 5 and 1 3 days and then not, they kind of stall, right? It goes flat. So it truly is, it doesn't have to be like, you know, from, you know, dusk till, you know, dawn till dusk action, but it is in those small things done consistently that makes it truly makes the difference. And like I said, I was also in the multiplication of this. And I think also taking that time to really think about, like, as Mary was in that situation, right? That, you know, not everybody's looking to leave their job. We know that, but most people aren't looking to leave their jobs because they think it's their only answer, and not really realizing what could potentially be down the road for them. And then, like, what would life look like? Like if Mary chose, and, you know, we're conservative in our approach with people of when it's a good time to make a decision to leave a job. But if she chose that, what would that give her? What kind of freedom would that give her? What does that additional income, what's that doing for her family? And I think that's where it's just that as a society, we're not dreaming that much. So that's our Awaken conference that we have coming up. But that's part of it, is that the drive to build a business like that while you're working full time has to come from an intrinsic motivation, something that's coming from our heart, that vision of seeing what it is that we want to create, what's going to make a difference for us. And that is different for everybody. So that's where we step in as coaches to ask a lot of questions and roll and dream. And I have found most often with coaches, they're most successful, like when our clients that come in and we know they need to lose 50 pounds, but they're like, hey, if I could lose 20, I'd be happy. And you're like, well, come on, let's lose 20 pounds and see what happens, right? And then they get to 20 and they're like, well, that wasn't too hard. What would 30 look like? Well, come on, let's do 30. I like to do that with coaches too. I find that, the less that I swing it out of the park, like, oh my God, you can make, 100, $1 million a year. Like, the more I'm like, hey, let's just do this. Let's see how you like it. Let's see how you feel. Most people are then awakened along the way. And that may be your journey as well. So we've got about 2 minutes left. Any questions, comments on that? All right, good. We are going to spend the next couple of weeks just really building on this and really start talking about next steps. What we want to do is really help get comfortable with sponsoring. We know that bringing on coaches that it can seem overwhelming. It can be scary. It'd be like, hey, I don't even know what I'm doing. How am I going to help somebody else? So we've got so many things in place that really are designed, things like the tips calls, the coach explores, team coaching, all of that is designed to simplify the process. And so some of the questions to be asking yourself with your own businesses, am I taking advantage of those things? Because sometimes, we're not doing the tips calls or we're not doing the coach explores, but yet we're also confused why our clients don't want to become coaches, right? So embracing those tools. So we'll spend more time on it. Really, our role is just, as with anything, right, with coaching and with training, is just to help you feel more confident and more competent. And like Frank said, wherever you are is absolutely fine. But most of us hop on this call or whatever because we do want to improve, we want to grow, we want to get better, and most importantly, give this opportunity to other people. So super, super glad you were on with us tonight. Frank, thank you for this. We do have the Monday night calls. We talked about the Tuesday night calls, but there is the large scale Monday night call, which is on right after that. The link I always include in the top 3 and our email. And then Dan Bell opens his room for us at 8:45 p.m. So you are encouraged and invited to join that. So thank you guys. And congratulations again to Laura. Thank you, Frank. And we'll see you next week.